And here with the sleepy Rob, he's not entirely happy this afternoon because we've been to the vet and we had a very bumpy taxi drive home, which was quite unpleasant due to roadworks. And we had to take a detour down a different road and it wasn't very nice, but we survived it, didn't we, Rob? And we've come home and Rob's had a little piece of apple and he's just going to have a little snooze on the sofa. So he is actually, his lungs are better than they were last week, but we've had to take him off of the Baytril because it was giving him such a terrible upset tummy. But he still needs some antibiotics just to try and clear this, because we don't want him to get pneumonia and to suddenly get really sick again. So, poor little Rob. More medicine for you, my man. Twice a day this time we're having. To try and stop his stomach from getting so upset, he's going to have his doxycycline twice a day. It's normally a once a day, but the vet has suggested that we split it into smaller doses and do it twice a day, because he needs to stay on it for 14 days really. And we've also got some Bisolvon powder, which also we use a tiny amount twice a day. It does say to mix into water, but we're going to mix it in with his food. It says food or water. We're going to mix it in with his food and his other medicine. We always use something like the Wait Up Baby porridge from the Rat Warehouse, or a little bit of malt paste spread on a tiny piece of biscuit or something, just to disguise these medicines. We don't give the same thing every time we give medicine. We try to vary it. But when he has his painkiller, he always has that in a little bit of the Wait Up Baby porridge, because it's important, some medicines, they have to be given with food. So we're back. We have an appointment in 2 weeks' time to see how he's going in 2 weeks' time. Obviously, if he gets worse, we'll have to go sooner. But the vet was explaining, why it's so important that we try and get rid of this infection now and not leave him. Because if we didn't give him any more antibiotics now, where there's a little bit still lingering, that can come back even worse. And old animals are very, very prone to getting pneumonia. And as you probably know, with rats, pneumonia can set in really quickly and it's often fatal. Once the infection's got really bad and it's really got a hold, it's so difficult to get rid of it. So poor little Robbie's back on medicine again. Aren't you, poor little man? Yes, it's twice a day now. But we give you something nice, and I never syringe medicine unless the rat is so ill. It's the only way we can use the medicine. It's much kinder. I know it takes a little bit more time, but it's much kinder to actually give them the medicine and a little bit of food. And with most cases, if you've got lots of rats, it's a good idea to remove the rat that's on medicine and make sure that they do get all of the medicine. I give Rob his medicine on a little plastic spoon, a toddler spoon, and there's no other rats I can see that he's had it. So it does take a bit longer, but it's much kinder, especially if the rat is going to be on medicine for quite some time. You don't want to stress them out, and it's not nice for you either to have to try and spend ages putting horrible tasting medicine in their mouth. And it's so easy to get the medicine down the wrong way with a syringe, and you do not want to be adding fluid to your rat's lungs, because that can be fatal and very painful and uncomfortable. So we will mix you up some lovely porridge, won't we, Rob? And hope that you will improve even more over the next few days, because you're a good little man, aren't you? Let me just put his cover down a little bit. Yeah. Here we go, my good little boy. Hey, my good little man. He didn't want to go in the carrier today. He's got wise to this, going to the vet. He did not want to go in that carrier. I had to pop him in, pop some paper on, shredded paper on top of him, and then quickly close the carrier because he wanted to come out, didn't you? And you've got a lovely vet as well. So that's my little Rob man. So he's slowly improving. He's such a little darling. And we also talked about how normally we would always have a friend. We wouldn't have a lone rat. But the vet has actually said, sometimes, especially with old sick rats, they don't want to be bothered with new rats and rat introductions. And where Rob was so nervous anyway, he didn't really like the group that he was put in when he first came to us. He liked Ned. He obviously knew Ned. but then we lost Ned, and he never really got on really well with John. They were always bickering. John was a bully to him and used to steal his food. I think Brandon did as well sometimes. Brandon and Rob really only got on well when there was just the two of them left. And then, of course, he'd got used to Brandon, and then we lost Brandon. But he is definitely more confident now than he used to be, and I mean, we're lavishing him with time and affection, so you're doing a bit of a chitter again. Hey, my little man. He's such a good boy. Yes, he's such a good boy. So yes, I know you can't always expect your old rat, especially sick, to accept other rats. Especially young rats. Young rats are often far too boisterous for old rats. Old sick rats, sometimes they just want a quiet life. Yeah, there we go. So we'll give you a little cuddle, get you some medicine. So yes, this is his medicine. We've got 6 tablets of Renaxan or doxycycline, and then we have a couple of sachets of this powder, which is supposed to work well for clearing mucus, and we'll see how we go with that. Really hoping that will help. It's helped quite a few rats in the past, and it's something to consider if you have a rat with a lot of mucus that you're just not shifting. It's really worth trying. This little tiny pinch of this you need. So that's it for now. We have a busy week next week because we have family arriving. We've had one lot of families just gone home, a couple of days, and the next lot of family will arrive. So it's going to be quite a busy time, and of course I don't want to be leaving Rob when he's old. So one of my sons has been spending a lot of time with Rob, and he's going to be making sure that Rob is fine if I'm not here, if I have to pop out. So yes, it's all changing around, and unfortunately we will have to move Rob upstairs to one of the bedrooms, but at least he will have someone with him. But we can't leave him downstairs because it's too noisy, and you don't like noise, do you, Rob? No, you want a quiet life. So Rob will be moving up, and he will be with one of us, and he will have somebody popping in to make sure he's there constantly when I'm not here. Hey, little man. So yes, I think that's it for now then. You see, he's a little darling. He's just starting to wake up now.